This is John Harden. I'm in the intermodal department here at Prime Incorporated, and I'm going to go through the SensorTRACS menu on our AS400 here. What this is going to tell us, we're going to look at specific driving patterns for a truck and identify good and bad and how to get better economy for all your trucks. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our SensorTRACS menu on our pop-up menu, which is 24 here. And then we're going to go to 2, Vehicle Performance. We're just going to plug in a truck number we want to look at and then put in the date range that we want to look at. So I'm going to put in December 1st, 2014 to January 22nd, 2015. And then I'm going to type in all to capture all the information between these two dates. So what we're looking at on this screen, we've got the truck number that we've identified, the date ranges that we're looking at for this data that we've collected. This is going to show the average speed the truck's traveled, total distance this truck has traveled in these time frames, and then it's going to show the fuel mileage is the driving economy with idle time factored in. The driving mileage is without idle time factored in. And we could go down here and look at the intertrip and short idle percentages, which are very low on this truck. So this truck's doing a very good job of getting good fuel mileage. From here we're going to hit the F9 button, and that's going to take us back to the speed and RPM screen. Across the top we've got miles per hour, and then down the left hand side we've got RPMs. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to page down to the higher RPMs in the lower end of the transmission. This driver's done a pretty good job. There's not a lot of time at 1400, 1500 RPMs at the lower end of the transmission. If you see a lot of time here in these slots, it means the driver's probably shifting based off the sound of the engine and not looking at his gauges. Now we're going to go over and look at the higher speeds and the same RPMs to see what kind of driving habits this driver has. To do that, you can come down here, hit F20, that'll page right. And we're going to page down here so we can have the totals down at the bottom. So as you can see, this driver, if you look across the bottom, the total time spent at these speeds across the top, this driver spends the majority of his time between 50 and 58 miles per hour, which is ideal for these trucks. So this is pretty extreme to see this much time in the 50 to 54 range, but we're going to look at his fuel cost, and you've already seen he's getting over 8 miles per gallon, so he's doing a very good job there. One other thing we're going to look at here, you come down here, page left, we're going to look at his RPMs here. He spends most of the time at 1100 RPMs. You can see 322 hours and 17 minutes. 1200 RPMs, he's got 104 hours and 42 minutes. And 1300, 25 hours and 20 minutes. So this is perfect because that's the stair-step effect we want to see, starting at 1100 RPMs, the majority of your time spent there, and then less than 1200 and even less than 1300. And then once we get down to 14 and 1500, we really don't want to see any time spent there because you're just losing fuel by doing so. So after we've looked at the truck's SensorTRACS, we're going to come in. We've got the truck pulled up, and we're going to actually look to see what this truck's net fuel cost is. And we're going to look at it 3 different ways. So from this screen, all we're going to do is hit F8. That's going to take us to 2 screens. The first one is the buy versus burn screen. What this screen tells us is, here are the fuel POs registered to this truck. Current month, previous 2 months. So for the previous month, according to the fuel POs, this truck is getting 8.95 miles per gallon. According to the SensorTRACS, which is what we just looked at that's pulled off the ECM of the truck, this truck's getting 9.15 miles per gallon. So these 2 numbers are really close together, not uncommon. So what we're identifying here is if these numbers, if there's a big discrepancy in this percentage down here is very high, that could indicate that there are out-of-route miles that are unauthorized, the truck's being driven, or that even suggest that the driver could be selling fuel. Next screen we're going to go to, so now we've hit F8 again, and now we're looking at the fuel cost per mile for this truck. We've got 4 different categories. Current is the current week. We've got the past 4 weeks, past 8 weeks, and year to date. And what we've got listed on here is unit fuel, DEF, fuel surcharge, fuel discount, fuel surcharge guarantee, fuel surcharge adjustment. So this truck for the past 4 weeks, you can see when we got his unit fuel minus the discounts, this truck's out-of-pocket cost for fuel is 3.6 cents per mile, which is outstanding. The past 8 weeks, with the fuel surcharge and fuel discount, this driver has actually made almost a penny per mile on fuel due to his driving habits.